Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and you guys know what time it is. It's time for another dynamic effort bench press day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. Reach down there and do it. Thank you so much. All right, let's get over to the training. All right, a lot going on today. We did a lot of dumbbell stuff. Because I have pretty much all my dumbbells except for the heavier clamps that I need. Clamps became a problem even with the screw down metal type, and I have some much stronger clamps coming that will fit. I have a really strong pair that will not clamp onto my handles. I have others inbound because they actually fell off when I was trying to do my dumbbell presses on the setup on one of them. But we'll get over to the speed benching. All right, what did I say we're going to do? We're going to go back to all three grips. I'm going to do pinkies on the rings. We'll call that wide, but it's not. Normal grip, medium, and closed grip, 3 sets of each. I'm now pausing on all of it. Why? Because I get more out of it. It feels easier on my shoulders, and I feel like it carries over better. Right? Get that power and explosion out of the bottom and not try to rely on a stretch reflex. I'm going to use stretch reflex movements for hypertrophy. It's why I have dumbbells. I'm not going to be able to use it when I bench and comp anyways. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build up all the bench, not just that closed grip that I had up to 352 before that shoulder impingement I rehabbed. We'll get back to that. We need to build the wide. And we need to address the weak links in both. If I'm going to train both, we need to address both. My pecs, particularly my pec strength at the bottom, limits my bench. My triceps limit my closed grip. They were limiting why I was only able to get to 350 or so, right? So we're going to hit both because the closed grip will increase the wide. But the wide is going to have to be a lot of chest work. And like I said, I'm jokingly calling it Operation Get Fat into Teddies. That's what we're going to have to do. And even though I'm cutting, I feel like I can make progress there. And we need to bring up my arms and stuff in general. Triceps, biceps, all of that. Why? It'll help me with leverage on the bench. I'm going to fully commit to this. I already know how to get my squat and deadlift up. I'm going to be able to do that at a lighter body weight. I'm going to get down to 200 and still be able to hit those big numbers. Those will stay elite. But here's the point we come to. If I'm benching 340 and I'm hitting elite numbers on those others, everyone out there is going to be able to clown me on that. I walk into a meet and I bench 340 with elite squat and deadlift, everyone's going to say, okay, but what about that bench? He's not really strong. He's weak at that lift. It's fair criticism. I know how to coach the bench. I have guys who bench double their body weight. I have clients who bench double their body weight. You guys have seen some of it on camera. I got Doug up there, and everyone was saying, oh, well, he should be coaching Blaha. Really? Doug had a 305 bench when he hired me. And we didn't really bulk him up. He didn't gain 20 pounds or anything. He didn't bulk like Mike did. We got him to like a 360 bench. Another kid who benches 375, I just don't put him up. Right? I don't coach the bench. I need to just accept the fact that I have tendons that need to be thickened up in my chest, because that's always what it is. I always feel that shoulder irritation. That's my pec tendons. I need to train them under stretch loads carefully, and I need to just build my chest up. And I need to build my chest in such a way to where it doesn't feel like I'm going to pull a pec when I go heavy. That's always what it feels like. I'm going to do that by stretch overload at a deeper position than the bench can go. Therefore, I cannot pull a pec benching, because I've already conditioned in the tendons and muscle to stretch deeper with a stretch reflex. So that's a big part of what we're going to do. But the speed bench, we're going to do the 3 grips, and then I'll do heavy work, well, heavy for 10s on max day for the 2 different grips. But we'll do all 3. We're going to keep it varied, keep it well-rounded. And then I'm going to focus on serious stretch position work the rest of the dynamic days. Right? That's what we're going to do. Chins went good, though. I can tell my biceps are really limiting me. I got all my reps today from the dead hang. Keep it in mind, I'm walking around at like 220 right now. So doing 25 pounds for 3 sets of 10 from a hang isn't bad. I want to get that up. I've already said I'm going to get my chin up to 90 pounds for 10. I'm going to do it. It's like I told you guys I was going to get a 600 squat last year. Said I was going to get a 500 good morning. I got it to 550. So to get the 600 squat. I hit these goals. When they're back or leg related, they're easier for me than pressing. I've hit every one of those goals I said I'm going to hit, so I'm going to hit the chin-up one too. I need a hell of a lot more bicep. I am so limited by biceps on these. Now, of course, I had someone else say, well, why don't you just do pull-ups? Because chin-ups work more muscle. It's a longer range of motion. It gets more arm involvement. And I need to bring my arms up from my bench anyways. Bigger biceps help you out of the bottom of the bench. But I also need to get my biceps up for a couple reasons. I want the chin up stronger. How about not tearing a bicep again like I did before on the deadlift? Okay, we need these stretch things. I need to be able to do strong shins from a dead hang. I need to do some stretch position curling. I need my biceps and bicep tendons stronger so that I don't ever get hurt again on a deadlift. How about that? How about to improve my bench? We're going to take bicep training very seriously. I'm going to do the most bicep training you guys have ever seen me do. Actually, all these little bro muscles, because they're all going to help me with my power lifts. What we're not going to give a single crap about is going to be overhead or incline. That's going to be my compromise. Those don't matter. Those will go up from what I'm doing with all this other stuff. So biceps in order to get those chins stronger and to not tear one again, and the other benefits. All right, chest is going to be an enormous priority though. All right, dumbbells. Like I said, I ran into some problems there. Hopefully with the other clamps, it's going to be easier. The biggest issue I have is re-putting them back down. It's hard to get them onto my lap and then sit up because of the long nature of those handles without them hitting me, and that hurts like hell, which I found out right there. So I'm having to drop them. Again, the better clamps will help. But I'm doing 85 pounds. Turned out to be too light. That first set of 10 was challenging. Then I got 12, then I got 13. All right, we need to bring that up. That's not enough weight. We'll progressively overload these till we get to true limit sets on 10s. Okay, we want to get to true limit sets. Now, I am running them at a slight angle. Some people might ask why. Less risk of hurting your shoulder. I don't want to flare them a lot. We're keeping a similar tuck to what we're going to do on the bench press, right? Going to tuck like that on the bench, so we have a little bit of tuck. I'm keeping the elbows about 45 degrees. What we are doing, we're getting a deeper stretch than we would get on the bench, because if you notice, my hands go lower. My hands go lower than the bench press. It's a deeper stretch, and I want a stretch reflex. So not just the range of motion, but the stretch reflex. So we're not pausing on those. So we're going a couple inches lower than the bench press is capable of going with a stretch reflex. And then with the independent nature of it, we fatigue at a slightly different rate. Dumbbells, because of that way they fatigue differently on multi-joint exercises, can give you a little more overall hypertrophic potential. If delts start to fail, you'll adjust the way that you're moving them so that the pecs can take over, and so on and so forth. So you end up with good hypertrophy. Okay, multi-joint dumbbell exercises are very good for hypertrophy. I don't think they can replace barbell, but they are certainly amazingly supplemental for them. That's why I dished out all this money for all this dumbbell stuff. That's why I did it. I know how much it brings to the table. I coach my clients on them all the time. Then we did Pendlay rows, normal rows, shoulder width grip, same as my close grip, right there on the smooths. Just shoulder width for me. Did the same weight I did last time. Trying to keep these as strict as I can, and I'm not going to go up on weight till I feel like these get even stricter, because I'm struggling as I get near the end of sets. I can do the first 5 or 6 reps super strict and they get heavy. So I'm going to stick with this weight until it improves. And again, this gives me a second back exercise, right? We're making sure my lats are getting a lot of work. We're going to do, on average, 9 sets of pulls, 9 sets of presses. All right? That's what's going to be my norm. If we count, whatever, we count the speed bench as half. All right, then we come to this bad boy, McDonald bar. There's a couple ways to use this. Now, I know people who've suggested, some really smart lifters, that I could use my bench blocks to limit the range of motion. I don't want to limit the range of motion. I cannot touch my chest with this bar. But does it matter? If I'm going for that deeper stretch, do I need to take it to a pause? There's no benefit to me pausing here because I'm not going to have to pause and drive off the chest at this range of motion. What I am doing is getting similar to what we got there at the dumbbells, but it's out wider. I want people to note that difference. I'm going to be able to take these to a wider grip than I can really comfortably get dumbbells. And I'm going down till I hit that stretch reflex of about as far as my shoulder will allow for. And I'm just going to rep it. I'm not going to go super heavy on this. I've started light, and these were challenging. I already can tell I'm going to have very serious pec DOMs tomorrow. Between the dumbbells and this, I'm going to have it. And I never bench with this bar. I bought it over a year ago. Now's when it's going to shine. Okay, it's going to be this combined with those dumbbells is going to give me a very, very serious tool to bring my pecs up. All right, and it's going to allow me to bench wider. It's going to allow me to get a lot more strength on it. Because in theory, we should be 5 to 10% stronger on wide grip. I've been stronger on closed. Let me bring my pecs up. That'll go away. All right, this is an exercise I'm going to have to lose the belt on. I prescribe these for clients all the time. Again, something I've been wanting to be able to do. Why? Remember what I just said about dumbbells and chest? We get the same thing for back. Doing this angle, it's fully chest supported. My low back doesn't have to work. Slightly higher angle and a different grip. Than my other rows. This gives me a third angle to do in the workout for rowing. Gives me a third angle. I'm getting a nice good stretch at the bottom, because I've noticed when I go to my stretch position, these are about an inch off the floor. So that's fantastic. But like I said, I had to set the height to get it there. And again, I've got to lose the belt. It's just digging into my ribs. I love being able to wear a belt for everything. This is not going to be one of them. But again, another back, and this one's a little more upper back focus. This is still hitting the lats, but we are getting a little more rear delt, more trap, rhomboid. So the chin ups hits the other direction. We hit more lat and less upper back. They still gets worked. The Pendlay row is more balanced, and this shifts the emphasis slightly more towards the upper back with a little less lat. All right, this will allow for full back development, which we need for support on the benching. All right, these are going really good. I stuck with the same little lightweight. I'm getting the range of motion I want now. I'm getting that long head stretch at the bottom and then bringing it back up. It's going to be a little bit different than what I do with the dumbbells. So even though they're similar, it's going to be a different emphasis. All right, I got into the groove on these. I feel like I can start micro-loading this. Now, these were still challenging for 10s. I left about a rep in reserve. So again, I can start slowly bringing the weight up on this now and see if we can get some extra growth. But again, very, very good stretch now on the tricep. Why this exercise? Again, it works the entire tricep, all three heads evenly. All my closed grip benching is going to put a little more focus on the lateral and medial head. This makes sure the long head gets involved. Right, that long head might matter in the chin up, possibly, but it's just getting my triceps thicker. I want to make sure my triceps get all around big. Right, I need to bring up my arms in general. One of those things is I cut down because, again, my proportions, people think my arms are smaller than they are, but I think if I bring them up some more and as I continue to get leaner, I think that's going to disappear. That idea is going to disappear. But again, this is a nice full range of motion exercise because, again, notice we're focusing a lot on range of motion on this stuff. A lot of stretch reflex stuff. This gets a stretch reflex in the tricep and works the entire range of motion. The curls. Over to the curls. I kind of got my groove a little better on these. I've realized not putting my elbows back and just curling it when I go up high seems to be better. I feel the bicep a little more and I can actually get more reps. I got 10 on the first set with this weight. First time being able to do that finally for at least the full range of motion where we come up to the face. I couldn't replicate it. I think I failed on like rep 9 or 10 on the second, and then the third set I only got 8. But 8 is what I got last time, 3 sets of 8. So we're making some progress here. That's good because I need my biceps stronger. My chins are at a standstill. Those chin ups feel stuck with the weight I'm using for 10s because I don't have another rep in the tank when I get to the end, and I feel it's basically hitting failure on the last set usually. I need my biceps bigger. My biceps are completely limiting it. My lats are strong enough to chin up more weight than that. But people will hear that and then they think the lats aren't getting work. No, the lats are getting work. The biceps just can't keep up. You're still getting effective reps on the lats. But we've got to bring the biceps up. They are what is limiting me. So we're hitting them here. And then we're going to get a good stretch position with incline curls later. All right, here's our combination again. If you really want to maximize bicep development, a big heavy movement, weighted chins from a hang at the bottom, a good full range of motion, doing heavy barbell curls like this for a full range of motion where we get shoulder flexion and elbow flexion, that works all the main functions of the bicep. Right? And then I'll do an incline curl for a stretch position. There's no further bicep development to be had beyond those three movements. Right? And before people bring up hammer curls or the supination and pronation of the wrist, that actually doesn't cause hypertrophy, in case you weren't aware. It's not enough load. All right, the dumbbell extensions, I bumped the weight because they were a little light last time with like 27.5. Using the new smaller dumbbells, I've got both sets of the Titans now. And those plates were pretty cheap from Rogue, all those 10s. Well, they look cheap till you factor in shipping and all that. It's like, I don't know that they were that cheap by the time it was done. But I have 20 10-pound plates I got from them, and then, like 4 or 5s, and I've got a pile of 2.5s. And then I got both these handles, but we went with 30 pounds with these clamps, because these clamps are 2.5 pounds a set. 30 pounds. I got my 3x10, the first set I left reps in the tank, but I knew the weight was about right from last time. The last set, it was all I had. It was all I had. Again, nice free position. This one's very easy on the elbows. Well, relative. I have a lot of my guys do rolling extensions who don't have thick tendons yet. I have thick tendons from all those band press downs. I spent a long time building it up. This is not the same as a rolling extension. A lot of my clients, my younger clients who don't have a lot of training time, are going, Coach, you made me do rolling extensions. These don't look like that. No, they don't. I have thicker tendons than you do. I can get away with this. You guys need to keep doing those band press downs for the next 6 months, and maybe we can work some of these in. But they felt really good. And again, it gives me another angle on the tricep that works all three heads. But again, different grip. Now we come over to the incline curls. These were tough, and they felt good for 10s, but I went to see if I could get a little more because I kept the same 30-pound bells. I thought they would be about right. But I managed to get 11 reps on the final set. So notice what I'm doing here. Notice I'm coming down and back up immediately. You'll see guys who pause on this, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing this exercise with a pause? The benefit of this is the stretch reflex. Because you have your shoulder behind you and you have that free movement of the dumbbell, it has one of the strongest myotatic reflexes you could get on the bicep. Like, I don't see why guys will do a stretch reflex movement and then alternate arms and pause at the bottom. It's like, why? You're missing the big benefit. And that stretch reflex. Let's talk about, again, protecting your biceps on a deadlift. I've said that before. I've said that many times over the years. It's a good tool for that. But what are we getting? We're also getting that deep stretch position that we don't quite get on the barbell curls. All right? Is this going to help me at the bottom of my chin up? I think it might. Same way we were doing the dumbbell for the stretch, to get a stretch reflex on my pecs to carry over hopefully to the bottom of the bench. I think the same thing can be applied here, right? You need to progressively get stronger at these. And I'm not doing a super deep angle because we don't need to go super deep so much that it hurts the shoulder. We just need to be back far enough to get our elbow behind us so that we get that myotatic or stretch reflex, which again is very good for hypertrophy. We generally want to do dead stop training, or we want to stretch reflex, is what I tell people. If you're trying to really get the most muscle fibers possible, we need either dead stop movements, true dead stop, or we need stretch reflex. Then I finish off with laterals. I did 28 for these today, so that's the heaviest I've gone. I got my sets of 10. And we don't need a lot of complexity for the side delt. This is just to finish the side delt. And it works all three heads of the delt, by the way. Works all three heads, but the side delt gets a lot of splash over from all that pushing and pulling. The front and the rear are totally hit fine. This is making sure and making it grow. And this is the one vanity bodybuilder aesthetic movement I'm going to do. And I've told you guys in the past, if you're chasing that look, just do a bunch of laterals and get leaner. And just continue to strength train. You'll be fine. But I am getting stronger at these. So hopefully my side delts are growing. But I've been really, really, really happy with today's workout. I'm really happy with the equipment I have right now. We're going to see some progress. And I think we're going to see my bench be up a hell of a lot by the end of the year. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.